What up, folks? Iron Brigade raging in the simulation. Some Whiskey and the Surfer's going to drop this afternoon. Why not? And then I'm sure when I'm suitably disappointed at the state of where our country is being driven to by these, well, God-hating communists, if you really wanted to lay it out. That's what's happening. That's who's driving this news agenda. That is why we have a Soviet-style communist accusation-driven, no factual evidence necessary, because this is about power, folks. This is about all hands on deck for them. This is by any means necessary, whatever it takes for them to gain control. Look at what is happening in the state of Virginia, where 78% of the counties have declared themselves sanctuary cities or sanctuary counties where no one can fringe on somebody's Second Amendment rights. Heaven forbid. Why do we have a constitution? And why all of a sudden, is it any wonder? I've got too much time on my hands. Why was Mr. Northam brought front and center with his, is this a Klan robe? Is he the one in blackface? Mr. Whoever was the guy that ran right behind him, he got in trouble next. All eyes on Virginia. And now what do we have? 78% of the counties saying that they are now sanctuary counties. And of course, the left says you cannot claim sanctuary. And there they go. Because as they do, as they use the status of sanctuary to get what they want, when it becomes an equal playing field, they cry foul. And now you have the governor threatening, well, we're going to turn off your power. We're going to report you to, credit agencies, turn off your cable. We're going to give you slower internet, whatever they're going to do. They say they're going to sick the National Guard on people who do not go along with this gun grab, do not go along with this totalitarian abuse of rights that we are seeing in Virginia. And if you wanted to have a controlled civil conflict, as what it seems to be, what is coming to this country, seemingly they need two things, folks. They need a civil conflict here in the United States, and they need a hot war with Russia. All right, those two things allow what? We have populations that can decrease, so then the populations can be replaced. Do you see the game here? This is really what it comes down to. The United States of America, the landmass that is the Soviet Union, are just pieces of property to be fleeced, to have all of your resources taken away by folks who have already declared that this is a post-Christian nation, a post-capitalist nation, that they went headlong in to bring soft communism here to the United States of America. And it doesn't matter how they get it. Again, they only need it to work once. We're going to watch some garbage today on C-SPAN. We're going to watch people who had to not beta test. They actually had to use pollsters to say which one of these charges seems to do better with the American public. Is it quid pro quo? Is it extortion? Is it bribery? Now, all of a sudden, as soon as Rudy comes out with the proof from Latvia, the proof from the Ukraine, real proof of real wires that happened in a time when Donald Trump was not president. Folks, if that's not proof of illegal activity, well, then there you go. And it's the wires, and they bounce from this NGO to this NGO, through this country to this other country, to this other country, to this other country, to this other company, wham, right back in here to a fund or a political action committee. Then the people who voted that very money to send out, your tax money to be sent out from the United States, comes back into their coffers. Oh, and don't they look like such great Americans as they lead with accusation again? Remember, go take it all the way back to the beginning. He's not going to take the results of the 2016 election. He is rigging the election. Everything they do, they cast forward, folks. And this is how the tactic works, because it's only one tactic. It's accuse with a headline. It's accuse with an accusation. You don't have to listen to anything anybody says, because as soon as they drop a trigger word in, you go Islamophobe, racist, sexist, other. And then what we find here is that the progressive project, the 70-year progressive project brought on by the Council of the Foreign Relations and the Atlantic Council and the people who have pushed for this open, borderless society, which they can allow then, well, they can move around the bad actors around the world and take care of what they need it taken care of, which is how do they gain access to Russia? How do they gain access to the United States? They do so by using propaganda wars. They do so by using thought crimes. The Progressive Project, folks, because they are so anti-God, because they are so anti-religion. I mean, they're pro-religion to the jihadis they're working with because they're all working on the same project. Plus, if you wrong those dudes, they're going to chop your head off or burn you alive in a cage right before they drown you. And they know that, and that's who they're in bed with. They're in bed with deep Soros money. They're in bed with deep Chinese Communist Party money. Anti-activity, anti-American activity across the board. And this is how we come down to a point now where we're going to watch C-SPAN today, and we're going to watch people accuse people of crimes without evidence. Again, as soon as Rudy shows up with the, you guys see this these illegal wire transfers? Oh, wire fraud. We've got them on wire fraud. Everything they do, they project forward, folks. It's very, very simple, and it's a very, very simple tactic, but it's like water. It just keeps dripping, and it just goes where it goes. So if you can dumb down a population, if you can make a nation full of soy-fed veals who will not stand up for themselves, who will hide behind whatever latest talking point or ism they've been indoctrinated with through the same institutions that have saddled up with the communists and the jihadists, all working together as they poison your food, as they poison your ideas, they poison the media, they poison the water. They work knowingly to shorten the lifespans of countries that they need access to. Again, they need the land. They need to fleece for the resources. They're preparing for the coming water war. When we move past these wars for oil, we're going to have a war for the resource that matters, which is the war for water. And just like water flows where water can flow because the path has been prepared for it, then so it works over time in order to achieve, well, it can achieve the Grand Canyon, or that drip over time. In this case, the one progressive tactic they use is baseless accusation. And from there, it's just drip, 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 drip. And one time, and only one time, they need it to succeed. And once that goes, folks, you think a conversation is going to save you? You think your Twitter history is going to save you? You think because you've been a good person is going to save you? You think because you work hard, people are going to save you? No, not a bit. If you've wronged the new progressive religion and all of their new heroes and icons, then they're going to accuse you of wrongthink. There's no forgiveness in that religion, so guess what? When they run foul of themselves, then they eat each other, like the godless cannibals that they are. And there we find ourselves about to dive into C-SPAN to see who votes where, what their future is going to look like as politicians who have to go into the public and now get booed, now get told exactly when they're lying, because people have... well, they've been lied to, and it was very obvious when it was happening, and now that it's come out, and everyone's aware of it, except for the people who got caught lying, and they're still in the accusation game. And that's where they need to stay, folks. Here on Iron Brigade, we're going to keep these under 10 minutes. WeaponsGradeFaith.com is where you're going to find all the Pitboss 2000, all the PC Deathsquad merchandise. Coming soon, the John Toll merchandise. There's going to be the actual Weapons Grade Faith and Reverse the First, Iron Brigade and Whiskey and the Surfer gear. And JohnToll.net is where you find that. WeaponsGradeFaith.com. Follow me on Twitter at John Toll, Facebook, Bitchute, Instagram at Real John Toll. Again, folks, see the simple game for what it is. This is power. This is by any means necessary. They want you dead. Buy guns, buy ammo, and get ready to defend your liberty. It's all you've got. God bless.